Grace, you're such a powerhouse. It's just amazing to see. And it's like, it's almost like Leap was written for Grace, you know?
I was actually just thinking about that I should write about my journey with you, right? The first time I met you was 2 or 3 years ago at High Power, 3 years ago at High Power, when I was at Uber. And I felt that at the time I had the title, but like deep down, I just feel that I wasn't happy, right? And then I did like Leap and then Leap to World Kitchen Club. I think that it served the purpose, and it also gave me a lot of room to and confidence to know that, hey, even though I haven't done that before, I can learn some new skill set and do it, right? And then with World Kitchen Club, it was a tremendous experience during COVID. I also took the job at Apple that I felt that it fits the purpose, and I also met really amazing people. But then I felt that I could have done a lot more. And I'm also the kind of person who likes to build things from the ground up and then really keep focusing on the business problem, right? So when this opportunity came to me, I think that like Karen and I have been talking for a few months already. And I kind of felt that like this checked almost like every single boxes, but I found that it was just so unreal. And then I told the other day that I felt this time I'm not going to jump to the first job that I got offered to. And I was just like, oh, I have other options. Should I look further? But I felt that this is the one that if I don't take it, I will always look back and wonder what if. So that's why.
And I love it. So first of all, big celebration for people who don't know, you just landed a great, amazing, impactful role. Like Grace, tell us a little bit.
So I'm going to be leading product for a seed stage company to basically innovate in terms of the payment space, because like a lot of like many of the acquirers such as like Fiserv or like First Data, they are all pretty old-fashioned, but like yes, you have the new ones such as Stripe, right? But like value proposition to the acquirer is still not sufficient. Acquirers are not able to support merchants in terms of the needs, and especially nowadays, like with so many new complexity in terms of like just card processing, bank transfer, and then also like wallet types of payments. How do you build a flexible infrastructure that you can plug and play and provide better visibility to the merchants in terms of like from a payments perspective, is it going to go through? Should I retry? How do I actually really look at things on the top line instead of like being an expert in payments, right? And I think one of the things I learned from World Kitchen Club is that as a business, I don't want to worry about payments. I just want it to be easy.
Right. And I want to type into that, Grace, because the beautiful thing about what you've done is that it is a double leap. Like you started with foundation, you've went through the modules, you got, you know, like, I kind of want to try, like I went out of this toxic environment. I want to try entrepreneurship. I want to see how this works. And then you went into executive circle, stood on the shoulders of everything that you accomplished in entrepreneurship and everything that you learned. And now you reinvented yourself and leaped again, because I don't know if you would have had this opportunity without, you know, the entrepreneurship, you know, journey that you had, and without, you know, World Kitchen, and without understanding all these elements. So what's beautiful, I think, Grace, is that you keep standing on the shoulders of what you achieve, and you reach even higher. And to me, that's what growth is about. And that's, you know, the growth journey. And that's why when it's done right, it is incredible and it changes lives, right? Because then you always have that confidence that no matter what, you're going to land at 2 feet. No matter what happens, you can stand on the shoulders of where you achieved and what you've done, and you're just going to reach higher, right? And that's what's beautiful about you, Grace. To me, that is like super exciting to see. So yeah, and Karen, take it. I mean, I'm just excited to see.
Oh, I'm curious. I mean, obviously, I've been working with you for a few months now, and I remember when we first started working together, your question was, what do I do? I'm interested in this, I'm interested in this. And what I've seen is you manage to combine all the bits that are important to you into this next role.
Yeah.
But if you were to look back over the executive circle piece of it, what is the one thing that was really valuable to you in moving you from where you were, which is, you know, at Apple, to I might start my own business, to I'm actually going to go and take this effectively chief product officer role at a seed stage company? Tell us a little bit about what shifted you into that position.
Yep, I think a few things, right? Whether it's foundation or executive circle, one of the things I appreciate a lot is the network effect. Because I think especially with executive circle, I felt that I connected with many folks during this discussion, understand some of the challenges that they are facing. And I felt that like it gave me the confidence that, hey, even though I may not know everything going into this new role, I can actually always go back to the executive circle discussion and then bounce off idea. Like people will be able to give me suggestions, or they will be able to give me like referrals or suggestions. Hey, you should talk to this person has done that before. And I think that like the mindset was like, hey, I don't need to know everything. I can, if I don't know something, I have a network of people that will be able to help me out and point me to the right direction. I think that gave me a lot of confidence.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things I really noticed was that you there was a point where you just opened up even more. It was like, I'm going to get help. I'm going to ask for help. I'm going to ask everybody I need to ask. I'm going to talk to everybody. I'm going to bring it all in. But you'd already done a lot of internal work thinking about what really mattered to you.
Yeah.
The thing that I saw turn was, it was the moment when you said, I want to create something. I want to build something. I don't want to just be in a big organization building it for someone else. I actually want to be in part of the driver's seat in something. And once you have that clarity, then it was like, right now I can go out and reach into all of these pockets and ask lots of questions. And I think you've been excellent at getting help.
Yeah, thank you so much, Karen. And I would also say is that I think when I first met you, Karen, I was just like, I'm doing a little bit of this and that, right? And I felt that I don't have the space and time to think about what I really want. And I think some of the sessions that we have had in the executive circle, people are telling, like, because we all want to be overachiever, right? Like the other day, Wakar was like, hey, I felt I'm doing that for everyone and I don't have time for myself. And then I think one day I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to commit to A, B, C, D, E. I'm just going to commit to one thing at one time. If all the other things drop to the floor, so be it, right? And by being able to focus on what really matters, I felt that I turned, and instead of stressing out, I prioritize things that matters.
Right.
That's a massive leadership trait. That leadership trait is about setting healthy boundaries for yourself around what matters and what needs to be done versus all of the stuff you could do because you're an overachiever and really good at doing stuff. Right. So that is just such a shift. And I love what I've heard you in sessions saying, you know, with the group, you know, it's all about boundaries.
Yeah.
What am I going to say yes to? What am I going to say no to? Really cool.
Yeah. And I think that this is the last few months, I felt that I have transformed quite a bit in terms of like, hey, this is what matters to me. And these are the things. And if I commit to do something, I would make sure that I do a good job, but I don't easily commit and try not to overcommit as well.
Perfect. Exactly. Because for high achievers, it's a lot about what to say no to.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's an interesting one. And I have to say that I see two shifts. So because I met you before in kind of foundation, I literally saw somebody shift from kind of getting out of this toxic environment, you know, not really even being happy, to somebody who is like, oh my God, grinning, like just knowing that you change people's life, you make a huge difference. So I already saw the one shift. And then I'm seeing this another shift because now I'm less involved because you work a lot with Karen, and I see another shift, which is this internal leadership confidence that is something that I've not seen last year. So And that's really, really amazing because you know what you want, you know your worth, you know everything that you achieved, and you're able to relate that to others. And that's why you're getting these amazing opportunities. Not everybody is getting a CPO opportunity, right? And you're able to negotiate the terms that you want, and you were able to go put, yeah, right? I mean, that's amazing, Grace. That's not something that everybody has. And I hope you see that. And that is something, those shifts are something that takes time. And that's probably one of the things that I want to convey is that it's not 8 weeks, boom, like I'm going to be a different person. Some of these things take time to reiterate and start executing and work more on leadership and influence and, you know, and reputation and confidence and clarity and again, and repeat, right? And a lot of it is that, you know, when, you know, it's like, okay, the rubber hits the road now, like, let's continue because there's a lot more to do. And when it's done right, it's just going to change your life because now you can just continue doing it again and again, right? And I think that's what I'm seeing, and that's why I'm getting super excited to see that.
Yeah,
Do you
I'm
feel
so
it?
excited. I definitely feel it. And I also think that like what I want at different stage is different as well, right? I think the first time when I left, I was just like, I want to do more and basically be able to give back to the society. And I felt that like World Kitchen Cup really served that purpose at the time. I make a difference to some of the chefs' life. But I think like lately, between like middle or late last year to this year, I was just thinking, I want to do more. I want to actually make a even bigger impact. I think in the past, like for periods of time, I was like, I don't want to manage a team. I don't want to grow a team because I don't want to have the pressure. But I think for the last few months, I have seen some of like my previous employees, they started companies and then they were still like reaching out to me for advice. And I have to say that one of the most touching thing last 2 days was some of my previous employees, when I told them that I decided to take the job, the first thing they said, like, they are fortunate to have you. And I was just like, I can't imagine like I've been working with them. I've like basically making sure that they also like I gave good feedback, like positive and negative feedback so that they can grow, right? I have always been very honest with my employee. And I felt that I'm ready to also make a bigger impact in other people's life as well.
So there's a couple of things I want to add to that. So first of all, you've arrived as a leader of people. Like from the inside out, you know that you're a leader now. So the concept of running a team, building people, being a contributor to a seed company is so easy for you. That's the logical next step for you. And the second thing that I think is really exciting is that you're realizing that that's how you're seen by the outside world. I don't know if you can fully feel it yet, but I see the way other leapers are looking at you now as somebody who has a really senior perspective on what it takes to make stuff happen,
right,
you know, in this world. And the last piece is you've gone from a company where you're working as part of a bigger machine to World Kitchen Club where you were starting something, it was a business startup, it's to help other businesses, to a role where you get to influence many businesses by making the payment systems simpler and easier for merchants. And that right at the beginning, when we started working this year, that was what you came back after Christmas with. This is what I want to do. And then it was only a question of how. So you have absolutely committed and nailed it, but you've gone way beyond that in terms of leadership from my perspective. And I'm curious about how that feels. Do you recognize that in yourself yet?
I recognize that. I think that I kind of knew that, right? Because one thing I would also say to all the leapers and also like everyone in the executive circle is that always treat people the way you want to be treated, because it's a small circle, right? Whether you're in the payments industry or anywhere. I remember when I left Uber, I have many of my partners basically reaching out to me, hey, like I know this group is hiring like head of this, head of that. Do you want me to do the introduction? I think at the time I just felt that I'm not ready for that. So I basically say, no, when I figure out what I want, I would reach out to you again. And I felt that like the other day when I was talking to a few of the folks, they would tell me that I think that you're well respected in the industry. Like even if this doesn't work out, you'll be able to do something amazing again. And just knowing that like you know what? This is an opportunity for me to basically have a white canvas to basically make a mark. Even if it doesn't work out, I'm sure that I've learned something out of it, and I will continue to make an impact.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's the next step of growth for you, definitely. I mean, I'm very excited. I'm also very excited about the fact that you went in to negotiate on your own behalf and walked
Yes.
more than you expected. I think that's always a great story. And again, that just speaks to the level of leadership confidence that you now have.
Yeah, and I also think that it is also good to ask people who have done that and ask for their perspective, right? I think in the past, I kind of felt that, oh, I don't want to share my number with people because it's also like a very personal thing. But then this time around, I asked people like in terms of like, what is the range that is reasonable? And then people give me the guidance, right? And then they also give me guidance like, hey, as a founder of a company, when people ask for more, these are the things I like to hear from them. So I actually, instead of like just asking for more, I try to basically focus on what I can bring to the table. What are the impacts that I would be able to contribute, and focus on like the commitment, the impact, rather than like the numbers itself only.
It's what's the value you bring, right?
Yeah.
What's the value you bring? And to be able to communicate that to people in a way that they want to give you more, you have to really know how valuable you are. And that is just, I mean, like I say, I've watched you glow over the last few weeks, because it's like somebody's lit a touch paper and you're just rocketing off now. It's amazing to watch.
And I think that like the last week or few weeks, after doing the due diligence, and I kind of like feel that, okay, I know what I should be getting. And everybody was like, you should do this, you should do that. And I feel that like the circle or the environment really pushed me to be bold. And I also found that my next leap, I'm already thinking about next leap already. My next leap is to help people not to self-doubt themselves, because this is something that I felt I have gone through that, right? I was just like, hey, what did I do? How come I'm doing all of this stupid thing? Then I was just like, at some points, like between last year and this year, I was like, I cannot change the past. Let's move on. I need to make sure that I actually do a better job in the future. And I want to basically also give people who are in transition, who are actually questioning what they should do next, helping them to also like be confident and ask for what they want, because I've gone through that. And I think that I want to see other people to grow in that area too.
And I love that, Grace. And I have to say, so, and one of the beautiful thing about, the executive circle is that it's built on the fact that you're going to leap again and again. It's built on the fact that growth is not a one-time thing, and that we are reinventing ourselves again and again, and that as you're growing, you can actually impact even more lives and create even more wealth, and you could be more of thought leader. And and again, with your journey is just, it's amazing what you made possible. It's amazing to see your confidence level, and it's amazing to see that you are playing the game at a much bigger, way. And that, and eventually, I don't know, maybe it's going to be some board seats, and maybe eventually it's going to be whatever, right? Like the sky's the limit. Grace has just started, and that's what I love about this.